Hi, fellow writers out there. This episode, hosted by Morgan, and
Teresa,
we're going to do a short list about editing. But first, we have a question for you. What do you think is the most important reason to hire an editor? Go ahead and put it in the comments below. Let's see if our list of 5 warnings, red flags, and if you stay till the end, a bonus matches what you think are the most important reasons to hire an editor. With that, let's jump right in. I have a question for you, and tell me in the comments what you think. Does your book need to be finished before you hire an editor?
I don't
All
know.
right, professional editor Teresa Halverson, tell us the answer to the question. Does your book need to be finished?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. In fact, you can go ahead and hire a developmental editor if you've gotten stuck with the middle or even the end. If you can hire a developmental editor, but be honest, if you're like, I don't know, I have an idea and I tried and it's just not coming through, a developmental editor will help you with that. If your book is further along and you feel like your plot, your arcs, and everything is good to go, but you kind of want some help with your paragraphs, your tension, your consistency, then you're going to want a line by line editor. And if you're done, but you want that second set of eyes to look for your grammar, your punctuation, and that type of thing, then you're going to want a copy or a proof editor.
Okay, I love it. So, no matter where we are in the process, we can hire an editor to help us keep going. But when we do that, it takes money, it takes time, and we want to talk about 5 red flags that authors should really look for when jumping on Reedsy to hire an editor or finding someone like Teresa at a convention or on a website. So, where would we start? What would the first red flag be that you think every author should be aware of?
I think hidden costs. I think the editor has quoted you a price and you send them your work or you send them sample pages. And then either they come back and they say, oh, it's going to be more than that. Or you review the contract and you find out, yeah, there's a couple of stipulations. And I know, Morgan, you just went through this looking for
Yeah,
an editor. So,
yeah.
what were some of the hidden costs you discovered?
I decided to go for it. I had a book that I know was really close to done, but the ending, it's just something wrong with the ending. And so I wanted to get an industry professional, and I went to this really great conference and I met one of this really prestigious YA author. And I don't know if I should say her name because it was kind of a private conversation, but she's a best-selling author. And she said, if I had to do it again, she said, honestly, she said, I would not go traditional. She said, I went traditional and I've gone this far, but I told her the premise of my book and she said, you just needed a good editor. Get a good editor. And then she advised me to keep going indie. And she said, I think you make it a name for yourself, just be more confident. And the way you get that confidence is to go through an editor on Reedsy. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. She told me to do it. I've never done this. I'm gonna jump on. I found this editor. I you can pitch, you can find like a bunch of them. I did 6 that I really liked and I sent it out and they'll immediately email you back and they're super classy and some will send you contracts and they'll send you sample pages and like Teresa, they'll really get into what they can offer you. And it was just cool. It's so fun. And so I picked this one. I knew she was perfect. I have a bunch of friends. They had read a novel. They're really excited for me to get it out there. So they said, let me help. They helped me pick her. I was so excited. I got the quote back and it was like $2,400 for an 80K. And she was double what my second, third, and fourth places were, and I didn't feel that the quality difference was double. So then I ended up going with the second one. But true story, I emailed her. She's so sweet, and I said, I'll save my pennies because I really wanted to work with you someday, maybe. And she said, oh, I would have discounted it. Thank you for not trying to haggle with me. And she was super sweet. And I had already gone with my second choice. But it was an interesting opportunity to show me like these editors are people, and if you're authentic and open with them, and they really want your book, they will work with you. And I thought, dang, I hope that's not a missed opportunity. So costs are tricky though, because you got to stay within your budget. And I would say not just be careful of hidden costs, but be really honest. If your book, you don't know for sure your book is going to make a bunch of money, so just budget what you know you can afford to possibly even lose. So it's not something that actually weighs you down. I considered it my birthday money. So Yeah, it was a really exciting opportunity, which brings us to our second major red flag.
Which is no contract. You just
Oh,
kind of meet an editor and they say, great, I'll go ahead and I'll edit your work for you for, $2,000. And you send them $2,000 and you send them your work, and then you never hear from them again.
that
So,
might be
yeah,
number one.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, make sure that there's a contract. It's very clear. It stipulates what the expectations are, what you're going to be getting. Many editors will only do one read through, meaning they're only going to read it once. Other editors, myself included, I will do between 2 and 4 read throughs depending on what the contract states. Other things that go in contract include things like copyrights, deadlines, when payment is due, and all the rest of that stuff. So, no contract, huge red flag.
Warning, warning, contracts protect you too, right?
Mhm.
And maybe read your contract. All right, so what's number three?
Number three is going to be the use of AI. So, not going to get into the AI debate on that. Um, you have your feelings on the use of AI. So do editors. Some editors use them, some do not. I do not, by the way. So just make sure you understand, are they running it through AI? Are they uploading it into something like Chat or Claude or something like that? Or are they keeping it in Word or Google Docs exclusively?
That's a good point because once it's up in AI world, it's up in AI world. And then you've got ownership
Exactly.
issues too. And there's been several
Exactly.
scandals from authors recently claiming that the editors are the ones that AI
Uploading it.
affected. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, if you've got a contract, that probably should be in the contract too.
Oh, good point. Good point. Pro tip. Pro tip. All right, let's move to number four as the pro gives us more tips.
Okay, number four is going to be, how are they editing it? So are you going to be getting track changes in Word? Are they doing it manually on pen, pen and paper, and then uploading the documents and sending it to you that way? Are they using Google Docs? Are they using a program you've never heard of? And then what do you want? So I use either Word or Google Docs, and I always ask my authors, which one are you comfortable with? Those they're fairly similar, but there are a couple of differences between the two, and some people prefer one over the other. So make sure you understand, how are you going to be getting these edits?
Oh, I think that's really important, especially if like you're a memoirist maybe or you're not as tech
Yeah,
savvy. Um, so the red flag is just making it's not even as much a red flag as just like making sure on the same page and that your editor can make is working to make you feel comfortable in your space, right? Is that kind of what?
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like, for example, I will never do an edit by hand and then upload it. I think there's way too much risk. And by hand, I mean like I write in the margins, different things. I think there's way too much risk of confusion, things not being clear, and that type of thing. So, and some people want that. That's the kind of editing that they prefer. And if that's you, great. Just understand what you're getting ahead of time. The other thing too, I've had some clients who will say that they're okay with word track changes and then not understand it. And then I have to do a tutorial, which is totally fine. But just, I know it can be very frustrating if you don't know how to use track changes in Word. So, yeah,
So what's
yeah.
number five?
No sample pages. And I'm going to have a caveat though, and I'm going to say no sample pages for a line by line edit or a copy or proof edit. You cannot do sample pages for a developmental edit for a novel. That developmental edit is looking at the entire novel, and it's truly not possible to do that, to do a developmental edit with sample pages. Your editor should, though, be offering for free to do 5, 10 pages, it's up to them, of a sample edit. And if they're not going to, you do not know if they're a good fit for you. And it's also okay to tell your editor, you know what, you're not quite what I'm looking for. And that's okay. It's not a problem. It's a fit of style and it's a fit of art. So find somebody that you like.
I think that's really important. I run an educational business and we write a lot of educational material and I write for that business a lot of journals and educational books. And my co-founder, she was looking for an editor for one of our premier book that kind of is the philosophy behind the business. So she put it out to a bunch of editors and had them do sample pages. And she shot down so many editors that I might have considered, even though I'm the author, because she was like, nope. She would look at the sample pages. One of them, she's like, nope, they don't get your humor. Nope, they don't understand. This is for teachers, right? So they say, nope, they don't understand the language of teachers. They're not getting our audience here. Nope, they're elevating the voice too much, and that'll make people feel alienated. And that was a really cool, maybe pro tip is to have somebody else look over the sample pages too that is a fan of your writing to see if the editor is like enhancing what you're doing or maybe messing the mark on it because that was a really made me feel great as a writer, but I think it also, helped protect our brand and protect some of the really quality things that maybe I took for granted was happening in my own style. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Okay, I think we're
Ready
ready
for the
for our
bonus? All right,
bonus.
drum roll.
Okay, here's the bonus red flag, no time frame. They should be giving you an approximate time frame. And sometimes that can be tricky until you really kind of get your hands in it. I know I always overestimate how long an edit's going to take just in case of that. And then also life happens. Um, it should be in the contract the approximate time frame. And you'll get some editors who say, like I usually say 4 to 6 weeks, unless I have a ton of clients backed up. Um, some will give you an exact date, some won't. They should also be staying in touch with you throughout the process, especially if they think it could be going a little bit longer or if life happens. And that's okay. Life happens for some editors. It does. Yeah, but that's our 5 red flags when you're trying to pick an editor.
If you are looking for an editor, I highly suggest my friend and colleague, Miss Teresa Halverson. And if you want to know more about what she offers, where can they check you out, Teresa?
So for the editing, you can go to www.nobadbookspress.com or you can just tag me here and I will go ahead and be in touch with you. You can also find me on all my social medias. Just watch the spelling of my last name. It is tricky.
And if you want some really fun editing advice, join our Patreon page because the three of us will get together and we help other authors with editing their book at all levels. It can be a one-page critique. It can be looking at, big ideas for the novel, everything from, plotting the actual novel to working on transitions. And we're just having so much fun. We have some amazing Patreon members and it's really exciting to work with them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that's it. So go right. Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.